We're making our way to what's the spring house over here. Brought a couple bottles with us. This water's supposed to have medicinal purposes. If after you drank all that wonderful, invigorating water, you might want to come down next to this place
or you might not want to.
do the exercises here.
I'm scared to death on this.
What? You had that water, you should be youthful and young. There he goes. He looks like that might happen to that guy on that commercial where he goes flying through the window.
I think I pulled something.
Oh.
I don't know if I can get off of this thing.
Well, let's watch. Oh yeah. See, we got all these great exercise things. So, oh, you gonna try another one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try them all.
Watch his face as he passes out. That's what the football players do, right? Don't kill.
This one's easy. Until you get tired.
Trying another one. Now don't wear yourself out. We still got another couple weeks till we get home.
Okay. I got a couple more to go here. Oh. Sorry. I don't think this is...
No.
Nah, I can't get into that.
Well, I'm gonna
try watch Jill try to get into that one.
Oh, okay.
You're not supposed to make noises like that, Jill.
Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm John.
And we're the Geezers on the Go.
Go, go, go.
This time we're at Indian Springs State Park in Flowville, Georgia. It's the granddaddy of all the Georgia state parks, built in 1927. It has 62 sites, many with water and electric, and 10 cottages. With its lake and medicinal springs and museums, you might be tempted never to leave the park. But don't cave in, there's an awful lot to do right in the area. We're here at Indian Springs State Park in Flowville, Georgia. We're sort of in the middle of the state. We have site 62. It's the last site in the campground. It overlooks, there's a lake behind us called Lake McIntosh. This site all the sites here have water and electric, no sewer. Really big, pretty good sized space here. And our site here, you can sort of see the lake down below. And I like this one because when you're sitting outside, you're not looking at other campers. You got mostly bushes and trees. And the only real downside to this park is that it has practically no cell service. It sort of goes in and out. Maybe you get some. And with some people say, oh, you're camping, you don't need it. Well, when you're on the road for 4 months like we are as snowbirders, you need your internet. You need to pay bills, you need to see what's going on, at least to make a phone call. And right behind our site, there is a little trail that does walk down to the one arm of this lake. And you can see down there. And I'm going to walk down to see what there is to see, and we'll meet you up at the bottom. Okay, we've made it just about to the bottom, and it looks a little squishy back here. I'm supposing in maybe warmer weather there could be alligators or something down here. Probably could go fishing in here too. Said there's 62 sites here. We're at site 62, and despite the fact that so many people travel this time of the year, snowbirding and stuff, if the fact that you didn't have internet or much cell service bothered you, there are a lot of empty sites here, and that may be the reason. Campground has right at the corner where two of the loops meet up, there is a big picnic pavilion, so you could have some people come. But again, you can see there's quite a bit of open space, sites here, and this goes up to another loop that overlooks the lake. The other problem here is that, okay, it has water and electric, but the dump station for you is almost 1.5 miles also down to the dump station. So if you have what we call the little poop trolley, that's a long way to tow it. Again, this is the other loop, comes down and also has sites that overlook the lake, but again, it's fairly empty. Well, it's Saturday and I didn't realize how popular this park actually is. All these spaces here were empty over the earlier part of the week while we were here, and now just about all the spaces are taken up, and down at the main part, all the pavilions, there's parties and things. So I guess it's more popular than we thought. This area, as we come into where our camp loop is, was all empty, and now it's pretty full. Most of the sites here are sort of gravel. They seem to be sort of level. We were just a little bit unlevel. We had to use a couple of little blocks to get us leveled. And the road in is paved, although it's not a great road. It's very narrow, and most of these roads it's a two-way road because you go down to the end and have to turn around to get your site on the opposite side of the road. But so far I haven't had a problem, but if two people leave at the same time going in opposite directions, it could be a bit of a problem. Site 45 is one of the few pull-throughs they have in this park, and most of the electric is 30 amp, although there are a few 50s, so if you're booking, just check what it says, because not all of them have 50 amp for the bigger rigs.
They have a small boat ramp on this lake. It's nicely paved though. Looks like pretty easy to get your boat in there. But it's obviously it's not designed for bigger boats, and that's probably because there's a maximum of 10 horsepower allowed on the motors on this lake.
Well, we figured we'd come out on a little nicer day. Last time we came down it was very cloudy, and there's some people going out on Macintosh Lake in their kayaks. You can also rent some kayaks here. It's a cool little boat launch. I'm not exactly sure what this pier is. I guess it's maybe just for fishing, because it doesn't say you can't swim, but there's no little gates out there that let you go in. But it's a nice day to go for a kayak ride. And then at the end there, that's where the dam is.
This is the dam that forms Macintosh Lake. Just like, looks like an earthen dam, a little riprap around the edges.
Here's hoping you can see this, but I guess what John called it a redneck Christmas tree. There's a bunch of bobbers in the limbs of this tree where people were trying to fish and got stuck. I think at least a dozen.
I don't think you should put your presents under that tree though. They get kind of wet.
Yeah, I wanted to climb up and get a couple of free lures for Christmas, but other than that, I wouldn't do it. But it is right on that lake. It's called Macintosh Lake, and there's also some waterfalls and some really cool other water features, creeks and babbling brooks and all kinds of cool
there's
things.
a lot to see in and around the park. And one of the things we're going to go see right now is the spring house. And I mean, after all, it's the reason the park is here. And we're going to take a look at the museum too.
Right. We're making our way to what's the spring house over here. Brought a couple bottles with us. This water is supposed to have medicinal purposes. In fact, I just bought some cream that supposed to be made with it. So we'll go down here and see what's what. People have been coming here for hundreds of years to test the waters. Hallelujah. This Indian Springs State Park is the oldest in Georgia. It's supposed to have developed in 1927, I think. But they've been using these springs here for at least 150 years, where people have come here to test the waters, and a lot of hotels sprung up. And it was once the place where the Muskogee Indian Nation was. We're going down into this little house, and that's where the waters are. It supposedly smells like sulfur, so we'll let you know. Okay, now.
Stinks down here.
First of all, let's see if you're supposed to be able to drink this. So. Sort of tastes like it had eggs put in it. It's sort of like a hard-boiled egg flavor. But somebody told me that if you leave it sit for about an hour in the refrigerator, it's supposed to lose that flavor, so, or smell, so we'll see.
I don't really get why people want to come to a spring and with supposed healing things in it, and then they'll spend thousands of dollars at their own homes to try to get this smell out of their water.
This is probably one of the coolest visitor centers I've ever been in. It's a big house, and this is where you register to go camping. So yeah. I'm in here, and they have a Christmas tree that's decorated for Easter. Bowling pins. Okay, we're going to check out this little museum right at the entrance of the state park, and across the road there you can see this hotel, which dates back to the 1800s. That's where people came to stay to test out the waters. Above the door to this museum has some really cool carvings. Looks like it's a meeting between the Native American Indians and the people other people who lived here. There we go. Here's John standing by this gigantic door here. You can get a perspective of how big that wooden door is here at the museum. Thing of the Chief McIntosh, and nice to be them. Look at this. Cool. It says people came from all around just to come see the springs and its supposed healing powers. I read the town grew to 10,000 in the summertime. This tells you about how they started the park, and was one of the first Georgia state parks, and built, of course, by the CCC. I think they built all the state parks in the United States. And all that before you even get out of the park. I mean, just outside the entrance of the park, there's a bunch of other things to do. There's a couple of museums. There's some really cool little shops. A really great restaurant.
The hotel. Don't forget
there's a
the
hotel. That was actually why people came to the springs. They stayed at the hotel and take in the waters.
Yep, and we're going to also take a visit real quick to a place called High Falls State Park, and a very interesting trail they have there.
Yeah. It's the little town here, I guess it's technically Flovilla, but it's Indian Springs little shops. I just spent some money in this place, and I spent some money in that place. I think everybody got some of my money. Ice cream, everybody. So, cool. We got Big Chief gas station. Pretty busy today. I think this is the first weekend in April. A lot of the shops are just finally open. There's a cool church over here. Lots of fun things to do. Right at the entrance of the Indian Springs State Park is the Indian Springs Hotel and Museum. It's an icon in this area. It was probably from around the mid-1800s when people came to the springs for its medicinal purposes. The hotel was built in 1923 by Creek Chief William McIntosh, who soon became a very controversial character among his own tribesmen. 2 years after building the hotel, he brokered a treaty that gave much of the Creek land here to the state of Georgia. For that, the Creek Nation had him swiftly executed. This is one of the rooms from the hotel. It had a fireplace and nice bed, and pretty cool. These are supposed to be typical rooms in this hotel, which is actually called the Stagecoach Inn. People traveled here through the hills and then probably took in the healing waters at Indian Springs. I love the floors here. They're all wood planked. I guess that's what the floors looked like back in the 1800s. This is what the main room would have looked like back in the day of this hotel. Chairs and a fireplace and a piano. Place for dining. A little desk where you could write your mail, and it was also used for a post office. Right outside the state park is a place called the Indian Springs Whimsical Gardens. There's lots of little shops here. It says it's free, and kind of got lots of cool little doohickeys. There's a bunch of froggies. And there's some big gardens out back. There's a cow and things, and it says, I think each little part is dedicated to a different part of the world. This says, "Welcome to North America." Go around. This one says, "Welcome to Australia," and we have lots of some kangaroos and everything is just starting to bloom. They're not quite. Well, I don't think we're quite very close to Antarctica, but there's some seals and some penguins. Waterfalls.
And even more waterfalls. These ones at High Falls State Park, about 10 miles from our campground. This is what they call the Lake Loop at High Falls.
Straight in, aren't they?
Yeah, they have gravel pads, but these pads are not slanted at all, so it could be a bit of a challenge to get in. Taking a big swing around the loop now, and these sites coming up will be more or less facing the lake. See the lake down below.
So straight in, it looks like very difficult to get in.
Yeah, some of these sites would be a little tough to get in. We're coming up on a row of yurts that they have here for campers without trailers. This is the falls here below the little lake at High Falls Park. Nice looking little river.
Well, this is the river here at the High Falls State Park. There is camping up there, but we couldn't get in, so I don't know what it looks like for the camping. But this is the river that flows down out of those waterfalls.
Not far from here was the trailhead leading up to another set of falls and some very interesting relics of the area's hydroelectric history.
I'm going to take a walk across this wooden bridge that goes across the river here at High Falls, and there's this other thing here. Looks like this must have been one of the waterways back out to the river here.
Consensus is this prehistoric-looking thing held pipes that returned water from a local hydroelectric project to the river below. Nature left us with a rather interesting skeleton of it, don't you think?
Not sure where we're going, but we're on our way. I can hear the river. And this is where we wound up.
It was a pretty glorious way to end our trip to Indian Springs and all the natural beauty surrounding it. We're glad we could share it with you, and as always, we'll see you down the road.